Would you give up everything you have, all the comforts of modern life, to live in a hot, steamy, equatorial rainforest? What if it meant moving to Africa, with no air conditioning, no plumbing, and worse, no ultra-soft 3-ply Charmin? Well, that's what Jerry Galloway did. He left behind family, friends, and so much more to live in the African Congo with pygmies, the lowest in the caste system. Jerry Galloway has touched the lives of many people through his medical work and his passion to live what he believed. He is the reason I've been inspired to be a more selfless person. During his early years as a medical doctor, Jerry Galloway was a gruff kind of guy. His bedside manners were unpleasant, and he was often serious and very focused on work. Eventually, my grandmother, a nurse at the time, was assigned to work with him. At first, he considered her Mrs. Too Darn Happy, but over time, he grew to appreciate her optimism. Eventually, he even grew into a kind and caring person. One of the first visible signs that he was changing was when he joined the Great Poverty Program. This is a program which assisted the poor and sick in receiving affordable and, in many cases, free medical care. Over time, Jerry Galloway developed a heart for helping those less fortunate. It was at this point he made a decision that would shock his family and friends. In Sunday school, many of us have heard the story where Jesus tells the rich man to sell all his goods and help the poor. Now, it's easy to listen and think it applies to others, but Jerry Galloway did exactly that. He joined a special order, a group affiliated with the nonprofit group Missionhurst. Missionhurst is a religious organization that tries to minister to people who have a sick body or spirit. Jerry Galloway was required to sell all his worldly possessions, including his television, his car, and even his house. It was important to him that people understood that they didn't have to wear nice clothes or have lots of possessions to be loved. In fact, he intentionally wore his most ragged clothes to make his point. Missionhurst sent him to the deepest part of Africa, where the only way to get there was by taking a boat for 3 days from the nearest city, Kinshasa. It was a place ravaged by war and strife, so it was not uncommon for Jerry Galloway to see 14-year-old children threatening his village with machine guns and machetes. In the middle of Africa, Jerry Galloway set up a healthcare system, and because of that saved many lives by performing medical procedures and providing better ways of life for his beloved Congo family. But his healthcare system not only made it possible for people to receive medical care, it also included a program called the Barefoot Doctors. The Barefoot Doctors program taught people in the Congo how to perform surgeries and other procedures that could save the lives of others. Beyond healthcare, Jerry Galloway also established a school system. His schools educated students, including girls who had previously been denied the opportunity to learn. In a way, you could say that Jerry was an activist for women's rights in the Congo. But Jerry Galloway was concerned about so much more than just the physical part of our bodies. He was also concerned about how people were treated and what was in their hearts. While Jerry wasn't looking for awards or accolades, he received them nevertheless. In 2006, Jerry Galloway won the Humanitarian of the Year award from the Marquette University School of Medicine. What defines Jerry Galloway is the contrast between the life he could have lived and the life he chose to live. He was a man who had it all. He wore fancy clothes, drove big cars, and ate the best food. But he chose to give that all up. He chose to leave the land of plenty and live the rest of his life in a land of poverty. After 28 years in the Congo, Jerry Galloway passed away from cancer at 7:15 p.m. on July 29, 2007. But even though he knew his life was nearing its end, he chose not to die in the comfort of an American hospital, but instead among his Penjua family in the Congo of Africa. Jerry Galloway inspires me. He inspires me to think about a life of service and a life sharing my faith. I do not know if I can ever live up to the standard Jerry Galloway has set, but he's inspired me to try.